Welcome to the podcast, Hopeful Horizons, the bridge where hope and healing meet. Our mission is to create the environment and resources to get people across the bridge from the post-COVID experience to a future filled with hope. Please welcome our host, Holly Porter, founder of Adventure Bucket Wish Foundation.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. If this is your first time joining us, then we really welcome you, and we hope that you'll continue to listen to future episodes. Today, I have got a fabulous guest. I always have fabulous guests, but we've got somebody that's going to cover two of our categories. She's in the medical industry, being a mental health counselor, and she also has long COVID issues. So we'll be double dipping today. But Nicole is a licensed clinical mental health counselor in a private practice, and she lives in Ogden, Utah. And she's been treating trauma and other mental health challenges for over 15 years. She also is a developer of an iMotion therapeutic program that people can use from home to help their brains release negative thoughts and emotions while instilling positive affirmations. Can't wait to hear about that. Nicole, she's hoping that her story regarding having contracted long COVID may help others understand what's happened to them so that they can recover and get the help they need as well to live a productive life, can recover and get the help they need to recover. Welcome to the show, Nicole.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Appreciate you asking me.
Happy to have you. Well, let's just dive in. Let's talk, first of all, about your story and what to start at the beginning, when you contracted COVID, and just tell us your story.
Yeah. Okay, will do. So I've struggled through the years with some health issues here and there, but overall, when all of this hit, really healthy person, very active. I'm that person who likes to be out and about doing whatever, and really had my life kind of come to a halt with what's happened. It started when I got the second vaccination. And it started as I almost was hospitalized because I couldn't breathe. I really struggled to be able to breathe. I had been working out, I'd been mountain biking, and I just could not get my breath. And so I've been treated a couple of times for that issue, with steroids and those kinds of things, because it did very much affect my breathing. But I started pain. And the pain I didn't understand. It wasn't pain I'd ever felt before. It would start under my armpits and move across my back, go to my shoulders, my arms. And I didn't really know what was happening and didn't even correlate it to the vaccine at that time. But I had talked to people, and people had kind of filled me in on that NAD. And I actually can't say the full name. So it's an acronym. Yeah. Or a full name that I can't say. But anyway, I got turned on to doing some NAD IVs, and I was able to get the pain under control. And so I didn't think much of it after that time. But in August of 2023, I got COVID. And I'd had it before, but just no real symptoms that were out of control. But this time I got really sick. I was very, very sick. And that's when that pain that I was having, just really came back with a vengeance. Not only that, my brain really, to this day, I have a hard time with fatigue, with the pain, and with, my brain functioning the way that it always has. So yeah, it's been a journey.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of my story. And so it's been a really rough winter. I finally went into the doctor because I realized this isn't normal. This isn't right. Something's wrong. Started with a rheumatologist, and he was able to rule a lot of things out, and came to the conclusion that it's fibromyalgia. I also ended up right after the vaccinations, not long after, ended up with melanoma. And so had to have melanoma removed. So it was, just things that I had never dealt with before, and that just kind of popped up pretty quickly after, the vaccinations, and then of course getting COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he also ended up getting, after the vaccinations, he ended up diagnosed with prostate cancer. So suddenly, all both of us are dealing with cancer, and then I am now dealing with this long chronic challenge, from what a lot of people call long COVID, but my doctors are kind of diagnosing fibromyalgia.
Yeah. Oh, well, I believe a
Yeah,
lot of people get all these diagnoses, but it's still long COVID.
right.
It just caught on fire, whatever you had. And so there's so many people suffering from it,
Yeah.
and it's challenging. How's it affected your work? Because you're a mental health professional. How does that?
Yes. Yeah, glad you're asking, because it has affected my work. There are times when I have to take time off because I just can't think straight, and the fatigue or the pain is so bad I can't function. And so that has been really challenging. One of the things with my work, though, that has been interesting is that clients, who were just fine, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, either after getting vaccinated or having gotten vaccinated and then getting COVID or just getting COVID, went into full, mental health crisis,
Yeah.
and, did not know what was happening to them, and literally got to the point where they could not function. And I saw this time and time and time again. And of course, I was noticing things with myself, and, was able to kind of put two and two together and correlate that, not only were we seeing, the issues that I'm up against with, the long COVID, but definitely we're seeing much higher, increased numbers of mental health crisis. And these were
For
people who
sure.
were, functioning, doing wonderfully, very, very dynamic in their lives. And overnight, just all of that gone. So I'm seeing a lot.
Well, and I've noticed that with me, the symptoms, they kind of come in waves. Nobody's alike. Like everybody has there's 200 symptoms linked to long COVID. And I think, or something goes away, like the eye floaters for me, and then they come back. So it just seems like it's this constant roller coaster ride that you just never know what's next and better. And
Yeah,
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 do the best you
yeah.
can.
And,
Share with us.
go ahead.
I wanted to hear about how your I can't remember what you call it, your eye that you do that
Yeah,
you
yes. So I developed a program that is therapeutic in nature, and what I recognized was that people need something that they can use from home. Either they're in therapy, and they could use a tool or support in between sessions, or there are a lot of people who don't have the finances to be able to go to therapy, or don't have the desire, sometimes, the motivation to want to go to therapy. So I developed a program called iMotion. You can find it at myiMotion.com. And basically, it takes, it works with the brain. So what we know is that the brain can be problematic at times with releasing negative thoughts and emotions. And so we, through eye movement desensitization, reprocessing, and different other modalities, we're able to help the brain move through someone's depression or the anxiety, or the things, maybe it's trauma, or different difficult memories they still hold on to, anything along these lines. So I put together 8 videos that address anxiety, depression, fear, guilt, self-worth. Eight
Yeah.
of them that kind of encompass a lot of the main difficult emotions that people will have. And we put them, we use a lot of different modalities to stimulate the brain such that the brain is able to move through a 13-minute video using eye movements. We use isochronic frequencies. So the frequencies target the brain as well. And then we help the person move through the negatives and release them from the brain. And then we move them using eye movements into installing positive affirmations. So it moves the brain from where you might be stuck, and it moves it into where you'd rather be. And it's quite effective. It's been really, really good for people in our test pilots and that kind of thing. So one of the things that helps is, brain work when you have been injured in the way that a lot of people have with the long COVID and
Oh,
the vaccines or whatever it might be.
yeah, I love it. Well, put that information, how to contact you, in the show notes here below.
Right.
Spell it out too. So if someone's looking it up right
Yeah.
now,
So
where
if you want to go to the website, it's my iMotion, as in your eye. So EYE motion.com, myiMotion.com. And you can reach us at info@myiMotion.com.
that's good. I think, I would encourage anyone that might help, because that'll help a lot of things besides long COVID, of course, but
Yes,
a lot of
yes.
those definitely coming up for long COVID. And I think we've just touched the iceberg of really where all this is going to,
I think you're right.
there's so many things that are just going to be this huge snowball effect. And I think the better prepared we can be and the more awareness we have about it, don't go stick your head in the sand. Let's
Right.
figure out solutions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think one of, the biggest things for people is recognizing that they're not alone, and that how they're feeling and what's happening to them is valid, and that there are those of us out there that know, what they're talking about, and we understand what's happening. And, you know, it's hard when, people look at you and for all intents and purposes, you look like you're fine. You're fine. It's fine. And you're
Yeah.
really not. You're not fine. And that can, feel incredibly lonely and isolating. And, when people entirely, lose the life that they had, and they lost the person that they knew themselves to be, there's a tremendous sense of loss that
Yeah.
comes with that. And grief is a big part of, that recovery process, because you're now having to accept that something has happened to you that you never saw coming, and that now this is your new reality. The beauty is when you get to that acceptance, you can actually move to better places, and you can actually work toward, healing, and okay, this is my new reality. What do I need to do?
So shifting gears a little bit, what would you recommend for people, how we can support, how a caretaker, how a friend could support somebody with long COVID? What would you recommend for that?
Yeah, so I think, really actually hearing someone and understanding where they're coming from, being able to validate, that this is happening for them is huge in and of itself. I have been very lucky to have some really great practitioners who understood exactly what I was talking about, and didn't have me feel like I was going crazy. I think that
Yeah.
can be very, very hard on people when they go to, medical folks,
Right.
and
You're
they
very
feel,
lucky.
yes, yes, I was very
Very,
lucky. And I know this because I've heard horror stories from people where, their doctors, just didn't buy what was happening for them.
yeah,
So,
and or they just don't know how to help them, and there's a 18-month
right.
wait to go to a COVID clinic. And
Yes.
There's some challenges, but I will say, hopeful for you, because I know a lot of your issues started, last year. The ones that I know that have been 3 and 4 years into this, my journey's 2.5 years so far. They are getting better. Like, I've had guests that they're all better. I mean, I have a couple more that I have coming on. I'm like, we need those stories of hope. Any bit of feeling better is going to be better in my eyes, and just keep the faith that time sometimes heals all wounds. We hear that, but it
Yeah.
really is true. I believe that I just believe that time's going to be part of it, and that we just have to do our part and stay positive and do what we can. So I think that's wonderful that you created that modality to help people. I'm excited for people. I'm excited to check it out myself.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I've made it very affordable. Yeah, so people can literally get it where a year's membership is literally a fancy soda per month as the cost of it. So I wanted it available to everyone, not just people who could afford it. And so that was my goal. Yeah, yeah. But I've also found that, really getting on top of things nutritionally has been, huge, as well as, certain supplements have been very, very helpful. But I'm a big meditator, and that has been huge as well. So if we're looking at ways that people can find hope and can, really help themselves heal their bodies and their minds, those are also things that have been helpful to me.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you contact me at info@myiMotion.com, you can reach me.
All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing some of your words of wisdom and help give us your story. And we pray for everyone here that suffers from long COVID, and their families and their caretakers, because when we suffer, everyone suffers, especially the moms, it seems like. So
true. Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
you're welcome. Thank you.
check these out. Everyone have a great day. Bye for now.
Bye.
Our biggest dream and desire is to bring lasting impact to the lives of the millions experiencing long COVID effects and symptoms all across the world. Please join us. You can reach out to us at adventurebucketwish.org.